flat earth shales keep pushing that 15-degree-an-hour celestial body movement. And of course, I have to show him wrong again. Over and over and over again. These shields want to set you on the wrong foot and simplify a beautiful earth with pushing that virtual sun and virtual celestial bodies that move around with 15 degrees an hour.
How would you be able to make a claim that something 3,000 miles away would not change angular size when it moves a bit of a distance?
I said it earlier, like, I can't make no claims about, I can't go and verify it is that distance, you know what I mean?
But like I say, he's making a claim, if it's 3,000 miles away, remember his claim, then that for it's too close you would see an angular size change. But my question is, when has anybody here observed something 3,000 miles away?
Yeah, you? And you even claim that you can observe something that is double the distance away from you. But let's start with the sun. You claim the sun is traveling between the tropics. That's right. At June the 21st at noon, you can see the sun having an altitude of 34 degrees. And according to you, that sun is traveling over the Tropic of Cancer, and that is 6,200 kilometers away, Flatsoid. And according to your own angle measurements to the celestial bodies, with an altitude of 34, that means you can see it way farther. Here it would be low at the horizon, according to your own bullshit. That is an easy calculation. Tropic of Cancer, and then 30 degrees higher. Do you understand that? Idiot.
But my question is, when has anybody here observed something 3,000 miles away?
Flatside, you contradict yourself. You claim the sun is in the clouds, but that's impossible in your model. You cannot see clouds from thousands of kilometers away. You moron.
When has anybody here observed something 3,000 miles away? That distance from Mike's GP to Polaris GP is 5,400 nautical miles along the surface.
Flatside, your own claim that you can see Polaris from 5,400 nautical miles away. Don't you think it's strange? It don't change size? Angular size? Flatside, you really think when you move 5,400 nautical miles away from an object, it don't change angular size? You are a moron. It should be invisible by the time you are at the 10th latitude north. Your own claims is that stuff in the distance, when you move away from it, becomes smaller. But not the sun, and not Polaris.
Remember, when you measure the sun's movement, it's measured at 15 degrees an hour, no matter its distance.
So according to you, angular size change don't exist? And there is no angular speed change in degrees? Huh, that's weird. So you can measure always 15 degrees an hour. We can test that. Here at June the 21st. And here December the 21st. Let's flip to June again. So from 8 to 9, that must be 15 degrees an hour. So that's 8. The azimuth is 58. And then 1 hour forward, 48. That's 9.3 degrees in total. That is not 15 degrees. Let's move to December. Also at 8 o'clock. And the azimuth is 99.5. 92.82. That's like 6.8 degrees. Flatsoid, there is change in speed between June and December, and it's not 15 degrees an hour according to your bullshit.
So who's not to say that it's still traveling at 15 degrees an hour just because it's at a further, at a further, how can I put this, path? I mean, if the sun's always measured to be moving at 15 degrees an hour.
Hey Oracle, you talk the same bullshit as your friends over at the Oakley's panel. According to them, we can always measure 15 degrees an hour.
It's always going to move at 15 degrees an hour because we measure it in angular speed.
I don't know what kind of tools you use to measure 15 degrees an hour, but the angular speed do change. Did you ever notice that? Why you don't measure that, idiot?
That's it. So it doesn't matter where its location is. That's the speed it moves at. I mean, claim what? Look at that. Look at that. He states 3,000 miles.
No, Flatsoid, that's your claim. And your claim is even more crazy. Because you claim to see the sun at a 34-degree altitude at 6,000 kilometers away. Remember, Tiny Disinfo Agent? Yeah, that's how I call you. Because you have everything wrong.
Because he uses controlled narrative.
Yes, Flatsoid, and you created it. Together with all your flat earth friends. All those other shields. Flatsoid and his ball friend clowns are using the virtual celestial bodies that go around with 15 degrees an hour, and they do battles about it. Both of these clowns claim 15 degrees an hour, but they cannot show it 15 degrees an hour. Spinning earth or spinning celestial bodies. No 15 degrees an hour azimuth change. After 1 hour rotation. This is maybe a little bit more clear. This is 1 hour later. Same location, of course. Oh, Saturn. That's only like 2 degrees movement in the sky in 1 hour. Globetards. Oh, that's not much. Just 1 degree. Speaker. 258. 258.7, that's only ½ degree of movement. Okay, that's also 2 degrees of movement. Huh. Harder. From 206.7 to 209. That's 2.3 degrees. So where is that 15 degrees an hour? I don't see it. Oh, here we have a big one. From 221 to 233. That's a whole 12 degrees in an hour.
And this is how it works. So as you look north, and that's why they get higher the further north you go because of the curvature of the Earth. And this is looking south. And notice how they're going in different directions.
I also noticed they move in the same rate. Is that 15 degrees an hour?
And as you move south, they get higher in the sky.
As you can see, not only the ballers try to make the claim with the virtual celestial bodies that move around with 15 degrees an hour, just like the flat earthers.
The apparent motion of the sun is not uniform. For this reason, it would be difficult to construct a clock capable of keeping this irregular time. Therefore, a mean or imaginary sun is used. This mean sun is assumed to have a uniform rate of motion with respect to the Earth. The time measured by the mean or imaginary sun is called mean or civil time, and uses a mean or imaginary sun as its reference point.
But you're not measuring any change of speed, are you? Because you're only still measuring 15 degrees per hour. You're not any speed you measure is described in degrees.
Another flat earth clown. So show us where we measured 15 degrees an hour, idiot.
The circuit that the sun's taking is 15 degrees per hour.
Oh, you mean 15 degrees an hour? Circling sun. Ah, yeah. You guys pushing the same crap as the ballers do. Do you actually look at the data? And what the data say? It say not 15 degrees an hour.
Which would have the implication of having to slow down and speed up, but we wouldn't be able to measure that.
Oh, you mean you can't measure it? Because it's always 15 degrees an hour. Clown, I tell you, it is possible to measure the speed of the sun in degrees.
That it is speeding up. That it does take a faster path in the summer, in the southern summer, and it's lower in the sky, and it's making a bigger circle. And a slower path in the northern summer, that it's making a smaller circle and it's higher in the sky.
Man, do something on your articulation, you idiot. You're talking to people here. So you're telling us the sun speeds up during the winter months because it's taking a bigger circle, and it slows down when it's summer because it takes the inner circle, you say. We can test if what you say is correct on the Tropic of Cancer. So it's 7 o'clock here, 7 a.m. The azimuth is 69. Let's move an hour forward. That's not even 4 degrees in 1 hour. Let's do another hour. 73. 77. That's like 4 degrees. Let's do another hour forward. 77 azimuth. 81. That's another 4 degrees. Okay, let's move over to the Tropic of Capricorn on December the 21st. 5 a.m. The azimuth is 115. 110. That's 5 degrees. Let's move another hour forward. 110. And 105. That's 5 degrees. It looks like it's 1 degree faster per hour here in the south. And how is it possible? You guys claiming 15 degrees an hour. And they make a full circle of 360 degrees. Clearly not.
And one of the things when I use that logic.
So that's logic for you, Brian Logic, without even looking at the data. You are a moron. And the rest of the panel also, all shields or retards.
I was able to explain at the time the Arctic every summer, they're the breaking up of the ice sheets, but not
Appealing to authority again? So, melting ice sheets in the north and in the south? Get lost, you idiot. And show us your recordings of that fact.
But it not completely being destroyed. I was also able to describe the Antarctic.
So you based it all on what? On a circling sun that's doing 15 degrees an hour? No. Only the mean, the fake, the virtual sun do 15 degrees an hour.
Now, I don't know what the Antarctic is or the Arctic. I was just going off of basics, what we're told, right? But using that path of the sun and that cycle, I was able to show within the presentation, not that anyone was listening because they were too busy arguing with George Netchuk and Rumpus and everyone else in the chat. I was able to show if you use that logic, then it does explain the Antarctic and the Arctic.
You understand it very well how the mainstream science applied this on the North and the South Pole. And now you apply it on the flat Earth.
And what happens to them seasonally.
You have some logic of a 2-year-old or a parrot, I don't know. But you think the sun travel between the tropics? No. It's impossible, you idiot. It come to my attention, these guys never used observed data or even data. They assume the sun go round in circles. They are not stupid. They do that on purpose, of course. And they will never tell you there is 2 sets of data, of course. This data is from the virtual celestial body, in this case the sun. And this moves around at 15 degrees an hour to make the globe go round. But we just see this sun do 5 degrees an hour. And never can go around with 15 degrees an hour to make a full circle in 24 hours. So while this one is doing 5 degrees in an hour, the virtual sun to 15 degrees. It moves from 225 to 240. Here, 240. Well, this one went from 115 to 110. Yeah. And a piece of shit, maybe ask Flatsoid, where is sunrise? On December the 21st. It not rises on the Tropic of Capricorn, you moron.
So Kepler does actually claim that the sun is moving faster.
Appealing to a 200-year-old scientist that might have never existed. You think Johann Kepler did something special? You're an imbecile. He not even measured the speed. Tell me how he did it and how he came up with the speed difference. Because your colleague Shield just claimed we cannot measure any difference.
Which would have the implication of having to slow down and speed up, but we wouldn't be able to measure that.
How could some retard 200 years ago measure it? Morons. Johannes Kepler, which one? The one with the lump on his nose? Or the one with the hook nose? Or the one with the slidey nose? And of course, the ears look different after some investigation. So this retard figured out the speed of the planets and the sun and the stars.
So Kepler does actually claim that the sun is moving faster in the southern summer.
That was only with 1 degree. And how did Kepler measure that?
Exactly the same. And that's what this, whether this is Mars or Venus as analemma.
Oh, we talk about Mars. and Venus now. And this picture I see in the screen now. Are you going to claim these also move around the Earth?
Nightly analemma, it doesn't matter, but that's what the analemma is. It's not, it's going backwards now. It's no look, it's not made it as far as last night, or it's made it a bit further than last night. Does that make sense?
Let me explain what this picture is. This is Mars or Venus. And then this person taking a shot, a photo each night on the same hour for I count like 40 days. And this shows them Venus circling the Earth in different speeds. So it can do 380 degrees, but also 340 degrees during this time period. So then according to these idiots' logic, Venus or Mars, whatever this is, have to travel with 70 degrees an hour or 13 degrees an hour to pop up the next day around the same spot.
Yeah, it's still going to be moving at 15 degrees sidereal rate with the rest of the stars for that night.
No, because this
You're not going to see a change on that night.
It's not 360 degrees, is it? Because if we take Monday, look, Tuesday was 360 degrees, it'd be where it is, but it isn't. So
No, hang on, no. I think you're reapplying it. No, listen to what I'm saying.
The number of degrees of change, which should be 0, yeah, if it's gone in 24 hours at 15 degrees per hour, but it doesn't with respect to the star field and respect to local time. This is its slightly different position with respect to solar time.
But if you take that 11 o'clock, any of those nights, that observation, and you measure its rate through the sky for you between 11 o'clock at night and 1 o'clock in the morning, you'll get 30 degrees.
So you're telling me Venus is moving 30 degrees in about 2 hours? Well, we can check that. So in 2 hours we can see Venus move like 30 degrees. So the azimuth is 108 at 3 a.m. Let's move an hour forward. That's 104. That's like 4 degrees in this hour. Let's move an hour forward. That's another 4 degrees. So in 2 hours it did only 8 degrees. Let's move another hour forward. Azimuth 100.84. That's like 2 degrees. So it did 10 degrees in 3 hours. How can it pop up the next day if it needs at least 15 degrees an hour? After all these years, none of these clowns have looked at the data and debunked their own claims. It's very simple.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making. So, you're saying no because it's going to go. It won't have got 3. No, last night's slide did go 360. This is tonight's slide. If you understand what I mean, that's the only way I can explain this guy.
Your explanation and your understanding is totally wrong. But I think you understand it, but you want your viewers to get it wrong. You are just a piece of shit.
And the changes, the things like retrograde, I can't explain it any other way.
So please don't explain it. But it come to my attention, all those UK inbreds that run YouTube channels have it wrong in some way. But they're doing this for like 7-8 years. They're not evolved into the matter. And those UK inbred shields never looked at the data. Never looked at Suncock or Stellarium. Their claim is, like the ballers, that the celestial bodies do circles with approximate 15 degrees an hour.
Or describe it any other way. It's just a whole new slide.
It's not retrograde. So as we've orbited here, we've orbited a little bit more,
Now you use the word orbit again. Orbit. Yeah, that means circling around the Earth. With 4 degrees an hour. What an imbeciles.
Than last night. And the same here, and the same here, and then the same here. Right? A tiny little bit more. And then suddenly, not as much. Not as much. Not as much. Not as much. And the rate of, look at the rate of change between each dot. They get bigger and smaller. Rate of change here, look. And then it starts to expand like it's expanding here and here. The rate of change there is. Well, yeah, that's what's interesting, and that's what shows that these are independent movements of the star field, the planetas. That's what they are, the wandering stars.
I would say, and I would view it different. I would view it as you see it moving at 15 degrees per hour.
15 degrees an hour. No, it's not called at 15 degrees an hour. Show me, you piece of shit.
Right, tonight, in the position it's in tonight. And tomorrow night you see it in a different position and it's moving at 15 degrees per hour. For you, but you don't get the 360 degrees.
Of course you cannot see it for 360 degrees. But your claim is 15 degrees an hour, so let's say I can see it for 10 hours. That would be a movement of 150 degrees. But nobody measures 15 degrees an hour.
You only get to see the 15 degrees per hour that you get to see.
I try to see it, but I cannot see it. It looks more like they go like 1 kilometer an hour.
Which is not going to be a full 24 hours. You're going to see only whatever amount of nighttime you have. So what I say a slide like on a projector, it's like a very, very advanced projector where, I know I'm not making claims of what the stars are, I'm just saying.
No, scumbag, you make a claim of 15 degrees an hour. Or don't you think that's a claim? Then you are a moron.
It's like tomorrow night's slide will be different from tonight's slide. I can believe that tonight's slide went around 360 degrees.
Or approximately 15 degrees an hour, you would say.
But then there's no way that could have happened and then it be in a different position. It would have to have been moving at a different rate than 15 degrees per hour.
Yeah, according to your nonsensical logic, 13 to 17 degrees an hour.
To a different rate to the rest of the stars.
According to you and the rest of this panel, the stars rotate around the Earth with 15 degrees an hour. Which they don't.
As Brian's saying, the star is going to still cross east to west, yeah? Just like the star field. Now, I would say at a slightly different rate.
Clearly a different rate. So according to you guys, 15 degrees per hour for the stars, and a little bit more or less for Venus or Mars, whatever this planet is.
It's separate, which is why you have the positions of the planets separately. They have their own positional rate and different to each other as well. They're all a bit like the moon.
Sure, all the celestial bodies have different rates. Let's see about the moon. At 8 AM, the moon had an azimuth of 120. Let's move an hour forward. That's 6 degrees. It went to 114. Let's move an hour forward. Oh, that's 5 degrees. Let's move another hour forward. From 109 to 104. That's like 5 degrees. And it needs at least 15 degrees an hour to pop up the next day. South of east.
Any individual night, all you're seeing is, let's call it Mars, track with the stars, but there will be a slight difference. There will be a slight variance as Mars tracks against the star field. And that's what you see in there, that same snapshot every night.
Yeah, I can understand you saying it's a false cartoon. Now, but my point being, are the planets claimed to have a different per hour rate than the star field?
So why you asking him that? Or why you ask yourself that? You can find out by just playing with these sliders. On these apps. Then you can find out the rate of the sun, the planets, and the stars for each location. And then find out all your ideas about the sky are totally wrong.
Are the planets claimed to have a different per hour rate than the starfield, than the main starfield? Or are they also claimed to be, I have to check that, to be moving at 15 degrees per hour?
You have to check that. After 5-6 years being a flat earther, you should know that. And then you would not have made a claim like 15 degrees an hour. Imbecile. You're just a fucking troll.
Because that's my point. If they're moving at 15 degrees per hour, and you can see them and measure them moving at 15 degrees per hour for you tonight.
Can you show us your method to measure 15 degrees an hour or approximate 15 degrees an hour? I would love to see that.
And then tomorrow, the same planet, if you want to, let's just call it a planet for ease of explanation, is in a different position and you measure it at 15 degrees per hour.
Yeah, according to this piece of shit, we always measure 15 degrees an hour.
Moving with the rest of the starfield at the exact same sidereal rate.
Sidereal rate, that's 359 degrees. That's good as 15 degrees an hour.
Then that means that there isn't, like, that's what I mean by the 360.
Look
If
at the image
they
on
have to be
screen,
moving
Bob.
at a different rate. They have to,
Yeah.
and just let me finish. Just if they're moving at a different rate, is that claimed only because they have a belief within heliocentrism?
You flotards and the globers make the same claims. 15 degrees an hour. But we cannot measure that.
Within heliocentrism, they will attribute it to the differing orbits, but look at the screen.
Hello. You claimed also orbits. So it must have a different rate orbit. From around 13 to 18, 17 degrees per hour. That was your claim. And none of it was correct. Because the data show all different rates.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, look at all those different days. There's 28 days, let's call it. That's every single day of the month, right?
I count like 40 dots, so it's 40 days.
Look at it. From Monday to Tuesday, it does more than 360 degrees.
So it goes faster than 15 degrees an hour. Can you back that up?
Yeah. Then as we get to these bends, it's doing less.
Well, on Monday or Tuesday, if you measured any of them, Adam, for a couple of hours after you've taken the photograph, will you get 15 degrees per hour? Because if you will, then they're snapshots of all different projections.
Why are you asking all these questions to yourself? You should know that after being a flat earther for 5-6 years. So you take the celestial data on one location, doesn't matter what location, and then you take the same location an hour later. It's quite shocking none of you ever did this. Check the observed data and measure the rate of the sun, moon, stars and planets. It's unbelievable.
That's my point.
Right, so let me on screen look. If this is Monday and the star is moving at 15 degrees per hour.
And again, only the mean celestial bodies do 15 degrees an hour. And that's because they need to make the globe go round. Or crap, what you like to post that circling shit? Nothing is circling around the earth. Are you stupid or are you trying to confuse the viewers here?
24 hours later, where should it be?
That's the point. It would have to be in exactly the same position.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it isn't, look.
Oh, they seems to be very puzzled about this phenomenon. they can't figure it out. They think this planet, or whatever this is, Mars, slows down and speed up while it's doing an orbit with 5 degrees an hour, and then pop up the next day on more or less the same spot. They call it orbits.
Because this is what this picture is showing you. It's slightly out its position relative to 24 hours later.
It seems the panel is mind-boggled. But I doubt they are mind-boggled. They're pushing the wrong shit on purpose.
Now the sun does the same thing. It's slightly out.
Yeah, but see, you have to pre-assume that let's say I'm looking at Mars or something tonight, and I have to pre-assume it's doing 360 degrees and ending up in a different position.
It's not doing 360 degrees. It can't be, because it's in a different
That's my point.
position.
But see,
So I'm not pre-assuming anything.
Hang on, leave me this is what I'm trying to get to. Hang on. You can't claim that it can't be doing 360 degrees.
Yes, you can. I just have showed that, moron.
Because you don't know. You only see the bar chart you see.
360 degrees, isn't it? Or less than 360 degrees relative to the night before, as demonstrated in the picture. In the real world. I'm not making a claim of what that is.
Oh. You made a claim. Approximately 15 degrees an hour in the real world. Piece of shit.
But stood on the ground, taking the pictures night after night, no. The images I get are not commensurate with 360 degrees in 24 hours. There's a slight variance.
Can you show that slight variance by using the official data and show me? Because according to your bullshit, it should go around the 15 degree an hour, 13 or 17. Can you show me?
Yeah, my point, Adam, is you can't film this full to 360 degrees. You can only film. Just hang on, just let me finish. This is why this is my point. You can only measure its hourly rate for you for whatever amount of 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever it is for the night. You can measure its angular rate for you for those several hours. And then, but if you pre-assume, if you're measuring 15 degrees per hour for all of the hours after you take that photograph, and then the next night you do the same thing with your next photograph, which has it in a different position, and the next night has it in a different position, then the only way I can describe that is that they're whole new projections.
Jeez, this one is demented. I think it is the most demented person on the panel. What a moron.
Brought in day by day or night by night. Because I can't describe it as 360 degrees because it's, as you said, it can't be doing 360 degrees if it's ending up in a different position. It has to do less or more. But I can't claim it's doing less or more.
Your claims are the same. You still need 15 degrees an hour to make that stuff pop up the next day. Or more or less the same spot.
I can't describe it that way because I can't prove it's doing less or more.
Well, you can prove things by using the celestial data and see what the celestial bodies do. Idiot.
I only have the part of the sky during the night time that I see. I can't see the 360.
But you still assume it's 360.
Can we move on in the video, please?
Every night, wouldn't it, if it was 15 degrees?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I can measure Mars to go 15 degrees per hour for more than 1 hour, if I can measure it to do that exactly, go 15 degrees for more than 1 hour in the sky, then that disproves their claim.
The Globus claim is that the virtual celestial bodies rotate clockwise in the celestial sphere around the Earth with 15 degrees an hour. And you also claim 15 degrees an hour. The virtual celestial bodies that represent GHA and the declination. GHA is Greenwich hour angle. These always move with 15 degrees an hour. Let's move an hour forward. Or 15 degrees. To make the globe go round.
It's
Just-
worth
I-
measuring because
Yeah.
they're saying it's not moving at that. They're saying it has a varying speed, but on average, it's 13.4 degrees per hour in the night sky.
So we see Mars moving through the sky with the speed of like 13.4 degrees per hour on average. Where do you get that info from?
It's going to be individual to the planets as well. So I'm going to look at all the different planets, and I think that's just worth looking at and see if they all have this latitudinal effect as well.
Great. When you have looked into it, report back to me and tell me about your findings. Well, it's about time you look into it after like 7 years in the flat earth scene. But I doubt you report back to me or to the panel and tell them they are totally wrong, including you. Idiot.
This is a map. It's an accurate map. So yes, this
Yeah,
is
but-
not a
but-
map. It's 100% a map. This is a map. This is a map. The globe is a map. And that's you're right. A globe isn't technically a map.
You said that the globe map is the only accurate map, right?
Absolutely 100%. Yeah. So yes, this
Yeah,
is
but-
not a
but-
map.
Yes, but I have a globe told me that to see parallel rays, you have to be in space. Do you agree with that?
No. Here's a good way of showing parallel rays.
Where can I see it?
I'm showing it on the screen now.
Is he confused or what? Now he's calling a row of shadows over a stretch of 20 meter parallel sun rays. Oh my god. Ow.